A Pennsylvania man who voted for Donald Trump in last year's presidential election penned a letter to USA Today, which of course they published, and expressed his regret for voting Donald Trump and admitted that he and millions of other people had been swindled by Donald Trump, conned into voting for him last year. Now, this comes on the heels of about a week or so ago. We did have the 63-year-old Trump voter who came out, did several interviews, and said, "I regret voting for Trump." I discussed that when it happened. And I mentioned at the time that, boy, we really are getting inundated with these stories every few days at this point of Trump voter here says, "Man, I regret it. This guy conned me." Trump voter over here says, "Wow, I made a big mistake." The more of these stories that we see, the brighter the future becomes for this country, right? There's hope. As long as these people admit a couple things, not just that, "Wow, I shouldn't have voted for Trump." That's good. That's the starting point, but that's not it. It's, "I shouldn't have voted for Trump. He lied to us. I won't do it again." If you don't have that third piece of it, none of it matters, which is why all these farmers, right? I talk about them a lot. We've seen them say like, "Man, I can't believe he did this. I'm so mad at him. I'm almost regret voting for him, but I still think he knows what's best and I trust him." So it's like, okay, well, I don't have sympathy for you. I'm not going to sit here and waste my time on somebody who's refusing to learn a lesson after they've been repeatedly throughout his first and second term screwed over by him. But this guy, writing for USA Today, had this to say. "A year after the president election, I feel completely swindled. If the presidential election were held today with the same candidates, I would sit it out. There was a hope that they would be willing to listen to us, but unfortunately, that's not happening." Now, here's the thing. The guy that wrote this is a self-described enthusiastic libertarian by the name of Morgan Morgus. Which sounds kind of like a Harry Potter character, no offense, buddy. But Morgan Morgus wrote in his letter to USA Today that he felt chiefly outraged by the MAGA administration's One Big Beautiful Bill spending measures, given that he'd enthusiastically backed the preceding cost-cutting drive under its Department of Government Efficiency, saying, quote, "What DOJ found in terms of cuts was great, but right after that came the One Big Beautiful Bill Act and continuing resolutions that undid all of their progress by leaps and bounds." Now, that's where you lose me, bud. DOJ did not find billions and billions of dollars in cuts. That didn't happen. Most of what they posted on their wall of receipts that we canceled were projects that had already been spent, some of them 20 years ago. They lied to you. So you've woken up enough, you're woke enough, dare I say, to understand that Trump lied to you, but you still don't think the other parts of his lying ass administration lied to you. Like the fact that DOJ only saved $8 billion, or maybe it got up to 16, but I think 16 was like tippy top if it happened. And you're like, "Well, that was great." No, it wasn't, buddy, because they cost far more than that. DOJ was a net negative for the United States. It cost us more money than it saved. And the fact that USA Today didn't bother to fact check that, just printed this as if it's true, that's a black mark on them. And then the man continued and said this. "I am, however, extremely likely to vote in the upcoming 2026 midterms and the 2028 general elections. I feel that I need to do what I can to ensure liberty advances, which includes voting for Libertarian Party candidates or candidates who have libertarian values." Boy, that's a bunch of vague statements that mean absolutely nothing. I have to vote to make sure that liberty advances. Again, before publishing this letter, USA Today should have written back and said, "Hey man, explain to us what this means. Explain it to us like we're 5. Don't just give us vague platitudes with conservative buzzwords like liberty. No. You tell us what making sure liberty advances means. Spell it out. Lay out a friggin' plan, okay? Because I am sick and tired of hearing these damn conservatives for decades now just throw out things like, we've got to preserve freedom. We've got to ensure liberty. We have to have personal choice. We have to have freedom and patriotism. Cool. Fun words. They mean nothing. Those aren't policies. Those are words used by stupid people to either sway dumber people, or they're used by stupid people who can't think of what it actually means. So I know I started off saying that I had some sympathy for Morgan Morgus here, but I don't. You're still going to push the same idiotic libertarian policies, which means you're a conservative that's okay if people smoke pot. Like, that's what you are. You don't actually care about civil rights. You don't even know how to define liberty. You're just another Trump supporter who's embarrassed to be a Trump supporter, so you're pretending you're no longer a Trump supporter. That's what I take away from this. If you've actually learned your lesson, if you had actually said, listen, I'm not going to vote on buzzwords anymore, I'm going to vote on actual policies that are presented, then I wouldn't care which party you were voting for if it was actually based on something real. But it's not real. You're just embarrassed about what you did a year ago. Thanks for watching, everyone. You know, we're inching closer and closer to 1 million subscribers, and we're aiming to hit that goal before the year closes. So if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so, and don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thanks for joining us as we head towards this huge milestone.